Manchester United have just been absolutely humiliated at home against Bournemouth again. 3-0. Oh, God. I thought that these days were over, to be honest, but maybe that was me just being optimistic. We're back where we were this time last year. Manchester United beaten. Absolutely disgraceful, to be honest. 3-0. And you know what? I'm going to say this from the off. I mean, 99% of this match reaction is going to be negative, but how did we lose that game 3-0? I just don't understand. In the first half, Bournemouth got their goal. I didn't think we were terrible, but we didn't score, as always. Second half, XG, we created 2.2 goals, XG, expected goals. Bournemouth didn't even have 1 XG. We had 23 shots, they had 10. We missed 4 big chances, they had 2. The list goes on and 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 on. And I can see somebody already in the chat saying, oh, but I thought it was Erik ten Hag's fault. I mean, I said this before, and I'm not trying to be like, I told you so, because obviously people's opinions change and things change, but there was this whole perception in this fan base that Erik ten Hag was the problem and that we'd sack Erik ten Hag and everything would be great again. I personally never believed that. I thought that even if Ruben Amorim came in, I still thought that we'd probably be poor. And I've said this many, many times before, that I think if we stick with this current set of players, we're not going to achieve anything ever, to be honest. I think, if Ruben Amorim is to be a success, we need to completely gut this team. Completely. And we can go through it today. We'll do a bit of a score. We'll rate the team. But obviously, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section on today's game. Can you take any positives from the game? Let's have a look. So let's go through from start to finish then on the lineup. So Onana, not good enough, get rid of. Martinez, I think it's all right as a backup. I'm not convinced that he's the quality that he was in his first season. After his injury, I think he's dropped off massively. Maguire, I think he's okay, but again, should definitely go. Mazraoui, I think he had a pretty bad game today. Obviously, he gave away the penalty, but he was playing at centre-back, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Malacia, awful, absolutely terrible. Malacia was never good enough for Manchester United. We bought him. He was bang average in his first season. He then gets injured for nearly 2 years. He comes back and he's awful. Mainu, I thought was very poor today. And I think for me personally, Kobbie Mainoo is, at this point in time, he's an 18-year-old. He should be a rotation player. He shouldn't be starting for Man United at this point. And I know people are going to be like, oh, Mainu, blah, blah, blah. Like, it depends what you want. If you want to be a mid-table team, right? If you think that losing 3-0 to Bournemouth is acceptable, then a Kobbie Mainoo at 18 running your midfield is the right player. And that's not me being horrible about Mainoo. I like Mainoo. I think he's quality. But, is he on the level of... Go through and look at the other teams. I don't know. Let's have a look at Arsenal's midfield. They've got Declan Rice as their equivalent. I mean, who would you rather have? Declan Rice or Kobbie Mainoo? Come on. And people will say, oh, I like Mainoo, but he's not at that level yet, is the point I'm making. We need someone in their prime. And that's obviously why we've been linked to Edison from Atalanta. He's, I think, 25, 26. You look at the midfield for Arsenal, they've got Odegaard, Partey and Kai Havertz. They're all experienced players, whereas we've got an 18-year-old who's only really had 1 season. Ugarte, I think, has been really good this season, so I've got no criticism for him. Diogo Dalot, I think, is average, and that's being kind. I think he should be sold 100%. Bruno Fernandes, why the hell did we give him that new contract? I think he's one of the most wasteful players I've ever watched play football. He frustrates the life out of me. He's petulant. He gives the ball away constantly. He has so many shots every game and he never scores. I know people will say, oh, he's created this many chances, that, and the other, but again, if you want to be a mid-table team, Bruno Fernandes is a good player. If you want to be a team that's, trying to win titles and all the rest of it, Bruno Fernandes isn't going to be that person for you. It's clear to see. Before he came to Manchester United, he wasn't a serial winner, and he's never going to be a serial winner. Amad Diallo, I think, I don't think he had the best game today, but he still looked like our best player on the pitch, so I would definitely keep him. Joshua Zirkzee, I'm not really sure what he's good at. He's not particularly good on the ball. He doesn't seem to want to shoot. He doesn't seem to want to run in behind. He doesn't seem particularly quick. Not sure what he's good at all. So when you look through the team that started today, right, this is my honest analysis. If we want Manchester United to be a team that's going to, be pushing for top 4 and winning titles, I would say that Onana, Maguire, Martinez, Mainoo, Malacia, Bruno Fernandes, Zirkzee and Dalot probably all can't be starting for Manchester United. Being realistic. And I'm not saying that I don't like them. I'm not saying they're bad players. I'm just saying I'm being completely honest. And it was the same under Ten Hag. It's no different now that Ruben Amorim's here. A manager can't just suddenly make average players world class. It doesn't work like that. We've seen Pep Guardiola, who's got one of the best squads in the world, and he's absolutely crumbled. Like, it does happen. Managers aren't magicians. They can't just suddenly, make everything great again. But so I think, when you look at it like this, I have the same opinion as I had a couple of weeks ago, that if Ruben Amorim has the ability from Ineos to gut this squad and say, Dalot, not good enough, sell him. Maguire, get rid of him. Bruno Fernandes, sell him. Like, if he's allowed to do that and build his own squad, I think Ruben Amorim will be a success, 100%. But if he has to work with these players, I honestly don't. I can't see it working. I said this before, because people always used to be like to me, like, oh, why are you backing Erik ten Hag? It's Erik ten Hag's fault. Like, any other manager would do better than him. And I said, I honestly don't think any manager in world football would have done better than Ten Hag. And that point's been proven right. Look at our last 5 games, right? Man City we beat, yes, okay. But we scored 2 goals in the last couple of minutes. That game we easily could have lost. You look at the last other Premier League fixtures. We lost to Nottingham Forest at home. That's embarrassing. We lost to Arsenal 2-0. In our last 3 or 4 Premier League games under Ruben Amorim, we've lost 3 and won 1 against Everton. And in that run of games, we played Nottingham Forest at home, who, let's be honest, are not an amazing team, and Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth completely played us off the pitch today, I think, for most of the first half anyway. In the second half, obviously, we tried to build up a bit of momentum, but as always, we have chances. We don't pass the ball to someone who's got an easy shot, and we hit the ball over the bar, and we did that time and time again. But it's just one of those positions that we find ourselves in now where it's frustrating that we have a set of players who, let's be honest, as I said, no manager in world football is going to get a tune out of these players. Ruben Amorim might have worked miracles at Sporting Lisbon, but Sporting Lisbon in the Portuguese league is not Manchester United in the Premier League. It's not comparable. And I think, as I said, if he has the ability to clean out this squad, then I think he'll be a success. He needs to completely gut this squad. If he does that, I'm confident that we're on the right path with the right manager. But if he has to continue trying to make something work with these players, does anybody honestly think that we're going to achieve anything with these players? Like, honestly, I've said the ones that I think, should be kept. Mazraoui I would keep. Ugarte I would keep. Amad Diallo I would keep. From the rest of the first team squad that played today, Xerxes, Dalot, Bruno, Malacia, Mainu, Martinez even, Maguire, Onana, are they players that would get in a Liverpool team? No, of course they're not. Would they get in an Arsenal team? No. Would they get in a Man City team? No. And I know people are going to be like, oh, well, we spent lots of money on them, so they must be good. That means nothing. If anything, it just shows that our recruitment has been poor over the last decade. And we've signed average players like Maguire for ridiculous amounts of money, given them ridiculous contracts and wages, and now we're left with a squad of bang average, mediocre players with a fan base who over-egg them and think they're better than they are. People make out that Mainu's world class. I mean, let's be honest, he's not world class. He's an 18-year-old who's only just started playing in the first team. Maybe you can have that conversation when he's in his 20s, 21, 22 or something. He isn't world class. And I love Mainu. I think he's quality, but he's not world class. And he shouldn't be starting every week for Manchester United. I thought he was very poor today. He was completely bossed in that midfield against Tyler Adams, who, let's be honest, used to play for Leeds and got relegated with Leeds. Like, that sums it up. You've got him going up against a player who got relegated with Leeds, and he looked worse than him. So, and that's not me again being critical of Kobbie Mainoo. I'm just being realistic. And the problem that we have as a fan base is we put these players on a pedestal. Okay? And we need to be very careful that we don't do the same thing with Amad Diallo. Yes, he looks quality. Yes, he looks like he has a lot of talent. But let's not make out that Amad Diallo is a world-class player and then in a couple of weeks' time, people will start turning against him. We don't have any world-class players in this squad. Not a single one, I don't think. Genuinely. Like, you look through the team from top to bottom, including the subs bench, I don't think we have a single world-class player. I think we have a lot of average players and then a couple of good players. The good players, I would say, would probably be Ugarte, Mazraoui, Amad Diallo, I'd say, was a good player. Particularly good, being completely honest. Casemiro's past it. Anthony's awful. Eriksen's past it. Garnacho, I think, is average, maybe pushing to good. Højlund, I would say, is average. I mean, who would you rather have? Ollie Watkins have got Aston Villa. Aston Villa have Ollie Watkins sat on their bench at the moment. He's not even getting picked. Who would you rather have, Ollie Watkins or Rasmus Højlund? I would pick Ollie Watkins any day of the week. And he's not even starting for Aston Villa at the moment. I mean, and that just sums it up how competitive the Premier League is. But because we have this tendency to put these players on a pedestal, and, you have certain people who have this kind of agenda for certain players, and they say, oh, it's Eric Ten Hag's fault. It was Ten Hag's fault that we lost 3-0 to Bournemouth this time last season. It's not the manager's fault. And I will never, I'm not going to turn, I didn't single week were like, why are you backing Eric Ten Hag? Sack him, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to throw another manager under the bus. Okay? I didn't do it with Ten Hag, and I'm not going to do it with Ruben Amorim. And the sooner that the Man United fan base realise that this squad of players are bang average, they're overpaid, most of them are mercenaries who are just waiting to cash in their paycheck every week, the better. Because I'm obviously frustrated, I'm annoyed, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. You know, I genuinely do not think this team, no matter who the manager is, will achieve anything. I don't. I honestly don't. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you can tell I'm a bit frustrated, I'm a bit annoyed, but I don't know. How does everyone else feel about it? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, oh, somebody says, you are so deluded, you can't change every player in the team. This 3-4-3 won't work. What do you mean you can't change every player in the team? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. Of course you can. You look at the team that we have today, right? So Harry Maguire's contract's expired in the summer. That's one player gone. Okay? Malacia is a squad player, so you can change him easily. Diogo Dalot, Real Madrid supposedly want to buy him. You can sell him. Mazraoui, I'd said I'd keep. Ugarte, I'd said I'd keep. Bruno Fernandes, I think there will be lots of people who want to buy him. Joshua Zirkzee, supposedly he's already moving back to Italy. Mainu, obviously you keep Mainu as a squad player. Onana, I think I don't understand this whole narrative of being like, oh, we can't sell players. Look at what Arteta did when he went into Arsenal. He went in there and he completely gutted that team. He was allowed, Edu, who was the director of football at Arsenal, gave him the ability to go in there and say, you know what, I'm getting rid of these players. And he started afresh. And they can do that. That's the only way that we're going to see progress at Manchester United. You know, you get rid of these players on big contracts and you have a complete refresh. You start again. Remember in the summer, Eriksen's contract expires. Johnny Evans' contract expires. Maguire's contract expires. Tom Heaton's contract expires. That's already 4 players from a 20-person squad who are 100% going to leave. You look at the bench, obviously Yoro would stay, Højlund would stay, Garnacho would stay, Casemiro I would sell in a heartbeat. Bayinda, I think, will probably leave. Anthony, I would sell in a heartbeat. And Toby Collier is a squad player. So this whole thing of like, oh, we can't gut the team. Of course you can. I've already told you that 4 or 5 of these players will have no contract in the summer because their contracts are up. And then it's just about Manchester United making these players available for transfer. It's simple. And accepting that they're not good enough. And accepting that if they ever want to be back at that top level, they might not be able to do it in one transfer window. But in 2 or 3 years' time, I don't want to see... I mean, maybe Mainu's in the team still. Maybe Ugarte's in the team still. Maybe Mazraoui's still in the team and Ahmad's in the team. But in 2 or 3 years... I don't want to see any of these players who started the game today in that team. Not any of them, sorry. Like, I want Mainu, Ugarte, Mazraoui and Ahmad. But, you know, Maguire, Martinez, Malacia, Onana, Bruno, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm being over dramatic, but I've had this same feeling for a very long time. A very, very long time. And I said to you guys before that sack Eric Ten Hag, whatever, if that's what you all think's the right thing to do, but it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to make any difference. The team is just average. And the problem that we have as a fan base is that we make these players out to be better than they are. We make out that they're world class. Oh, Kobe Mainu, star boy. Garnacho's the next Ronaldo. Rasmus Højlund's going to... Like, it's all just hype over nothing. And the other teams come to Old Trafford and they're not scared. They're not scared at all. They're not scared of any of these players. Because they're not good enough. It's as simple as that. And the sooner that you guys realise that, I think we'll see the path that we need to go on. Okay? But obviously, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I'm going to go and try and do something else with the rest of my day. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow morning as normal, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil, and we're only 3 subscribers away from 40,000. I literally can see it on my screen now. We're literally about to hit 40,000 subscribers. So go and subscribe right now. I know everyone's upset, but yeah, we can have good conversation on this channel. I'm not going to start smashing stuff up and playing up for the camera. I give you my honest opinion. You in the comment section are obviously welcome to have your opinion as well. So I hope you will join me on the next video, which will be tomorrow morning. As always, Thank you very much. I'll speak to you all later. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. And yeah, have a good rest of your Sunday. Bye for now.